Well, it's summer weather for sure. We've got some hot weather into the northern plains and other parts of the area. Veritable heat wave going on this first middle weekend of June into North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Minnesota. That won't last long, but it does look like the weather will remain warmer than average for a while. With this weather pattern, some of those thunderstorms are doing their thing. Too much in some spots, not enough rain in others. That, of course, is typical. It's which way that pendulum swings that we go into. A little too wet of a summer or too dry of a summer, and it's pretty early in the summer to really be finishing that topic. With that in mind, we'll take a look at where the drought is now and where it is expected to expand over the next few weeks. Hot weather up into the northern plains, as I mentioned, courtesy the jet stream, which has built a strong high-pressure ridge in the middle of North America, bounded by troughs on either side. In other words, it's that famous W-shaped looking weather pattern, which gets hot in the middle and is much cooler on either side. If this were wintertime, it would be a lot cooler on either side, but as it is, it's definitely some hot, with temperatures into the 90s and hundreds in parts of places as far north as North Dakota this first weekend. That heat will settle back, and this hot weather, which will mostly be weather in the 90s, will settle back into places as where it typically is in the summertime. Northern plains will settle back into the 80s. It'll be fairly warm this week throughout the Great Lakes states. The cool weather up around Hudson Bay, a lot of dry weather and warm weather into western Canada, some scattered shower weather into the Pacific Northwest, where things have been a little wetter and a little cooler, but not a lot of generally wet weather anywhere in the United States. And that hot weather will remain down in the southern states, in fact, most of the country, in a relatively warm weather pattern. By the end of this first week, the flatness begins to appear in the jet stream. This is more typical of a summer weather pattern, tends to keep the heat less oppressive and more standard, more typical, and generally in places where they're more used to it. As we get into the second week of the forecast, which takes us up to just before the Independence Day holiday, a little bit of ridging is building up again, and that will likely, or at least potentially, draw some hot weather northward. We'll see how far. Right now, it doesn't look that bad. As far as precipitation goes, this coming week there will be some scattered showers, thunderstorms, enough to say it'll be slightly wetter than average into much of the northern plains, back through the southwest. Now, this won't be particularly rainy, but stray storms down there will likely cause some lightning fires and that sort of thing. Most of the Midwest and most of the West will be dry this week. Second week, not that much of a shift in the pattern, with again the threat for thunderstorms in the north. The driest weather in the country and the most persistent drought continues to be over the Rocky Mountains, the southwest, up into the high plains. And with the weather pattern the way it is, there may be some eastward expansion, but likely not very much this summer.